So today we're going to be learning how to sample aquatic invertebrates easily and effectively. So we're going to be looking at a beautiful stretch of the Mississippi River today, and we're going to be teaching you where to look, what equipment you'll need, and how to pick them up. But the first thing we'll need to know is to learn a little bit about a river itself and how a river flows. So to better collect invertebrates, we're going to have to know where they live. And so by learning how a river works, we can find them a bit easier. So there's three major sections of a river that you'll find, or major characteristics. That's going to be riffles, runs, and pools. So the first one's going to be a riffle. It's going to be kind of your shallow, rocky area that has a lot of turbulence in it. So where the rocks are pushing the water around and the water is going all which ways. And then you'll have the run, which is going to be a much more uniform current. Going to be going right down the river. It's going to be a lot deeper and probably a bit slower. Then you'll have the pool, which can be the real deep parts that aren't affected by the current. And so these can be below the current, these can be off to the side of the current, and opposite sides of bends, or and then in bends themselves, it can be deep below the current. And then a couple other things to take a look at is going to be an eddy. An eddy is simply where the current actually goes opposite of the natural current. This can be caused by debris, corners, and a whole bunch of different things, but this can cause a bunch of slack water and a bunch of stuff to build up there. And then the last is the tail out, or is when it comes back up and shallows off again. This is a popular place for bugs to hang out because there's a lot of good food that come into these tail outs. So that'd be at the end of a pool. So one other thing that we don't see in this diagram is going to be what's called a sandbar. And sandbars are just simply shallow areas, often on the inside of bends, that are the cause of slow water depositing sediments there. And so these can be a place with a lot of fresh sediments. If you're looking for specific invertebrates, another thing you have to look at is be what order of stream we are. Low order streams normally have a lot more grazers like caddisflies, where large order ones have a lot more filterers and predators like our damselflies, you can find in those streams. And so looking at the one we have here, we'll be expecting to find a large density of grazing critters like our caddisflies. We're going to take a look at some of the critters we're expecting to find. So the first one up is going to be our caddisfly, which is this little guy in his nice little hut here. They actually build tiny little shells. And the other one is going to be a dragonfly nymph. So this is their aquatic form. And then this one right here is actually going to be our Damselfly Nymph, which is another aquatic version of a damselfly, and it's predatory. And then this last one is our more rare predator that'll actually hunt fish and even tadpoles, our water scorpion. So here we're looking at our sample site here, which is a stretch of the Mississippi River just down water of the Otter Power Dam. And so if you can look right now, it's pretty early in spring. You can see the water's moving quite quick. So we're going to mainly stick to the sides of the river. We're really not going to go out to the main channel because it's pretty swift and isn't exactly super safe right now. So now we're going to be taking a look at the side. You can kind of see this area has got its floating weeds on top, which would be a great habitat for a bunch of different critters. So one method to collect off of the floating mass is to put the scoop underneath and drag alongside the bottom of that floating mass and see what's in there. You can see if we got anything. It looks like we're full of caddisflies. So we're already getting our good density of caddisflies there. So another good way to get a different variety of critters is to actually go from the top and actually drag at the bottom. This will grab you a lot of the critters that like to hang out in the sediments and the pebbles and the rocks down there. So you can get a different type of critter down there oftentimes. And then now it should be looking at caddisflies. You can see caddisflies are all over the place, that they're hanging out on that rock and this rock as well. And flipping over rocks and checking out rocks can be another good way to find bugs. So here we're just doing another grab using the top-down method to see what's hanging out on the sediment. We'll just drag it through the water to kind of clean it out a bit. And that one doesn't look super productive, but you can see some scuds in there. And another good place to look is a deadfall like this, or pretty much just trees that are in the river section, because you can see it grabs a bunch of weeds and plant matter, and there's a bunch of food here for the grazers and the shredders. So even just looking in this up close in the plant matter and even on the logs, you can find all types of species. We found a lot of scuds in there, and we're just going to take another sample from there. A lot of scuds and just a whole bunch of different type of critters. And so the main equipment we are currently using is just going to be a 5-gallon bucket to collect your specimens from the river. D net, which is our net here, which is pretty much just a dip net that is designed to have a very small mesh so it doesn't let our real small bugs out. Then just some ways to keep yourself dry, especially in this little bit colder water in the spring. And so here is just it was just a quick video on how to effectively sample aquatic invertebrates. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below.